Hello.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
So I'll tell you what the series is. So we're doing a build-up to the event, which is the Siren Festival, and the idea is getting people along. You know, like recently we had a mother and a child. She was 16 years old, but talking about what running's done for them. And you know, before that we had a couple who actually met because of running, and then how it's changed their lives, and now they're married and all that stuff. So they ran into each other and probably running away from each other now. so yeah, just the idea is to get people from different walks of life where running has played a very important role. And today the idea is strength training for running. You know, I'm a very big advocate of that. So what's your take? How important is strength training for who's a runner?
So strength training, frankly, for any discipline is incredibly important, and that goes across ages. From a running aspect, you use a lot of it. It's not just about cardiovascular activity, but it's also about strength training to be able to go through endurance, through length. So if you see the short distance runners, I mean, if you look at even a 100-meter sprinter, they're extremely muscular.
Yeah.
And that's not just about being lean, but you need muscle mass to be able to carry your body weight forward and to not just perform the discipline of sport, but also to help you age better. So from a running perspective itself, again, it requires not just strength training for your legs, but it requires upper body training equally important. It's not, you can't have disproportionately large legs and a completely frail upper body.
Yeah.
You will see the runners also, don't look at me as an example, but you will see the 100-meter sprinters who will have biceps which will mirror a boxer's pretty much.
Yeah.
Yes, so it's incredibly important. It's in a nutshell.
You said about upper body, lower body things. So normally what we see in the gym goers is
the middle body. Is the middle body.
Or the one back. Yeah. No, but upper body, when you say, like, again, what comes to your mind? Like, where should the runner be working on if it's the upper body?
Right. So effectively, you will need to work across the entire space, which means across your chest, your shoulders, your back, your abdomen, across the entire part there to make sure your cervical curve is also appropriate, and that will work with strength training. You will need your arms to work well, you to be able to get the momentum and the pace.
Right.
You will need to have the right posture, which is a function of everything between the chest, shoulder. I shouldn't be slouching right now, so I'll sit more straight. Between the chest and the shoulder and the back, and of course you can't be running with a one pack, so you need to keep your abs up also. So yeah, it's not just about the legs. Yes.
Excellent. And so just let's talk about Elemention for a bit. Like,
sure.
How many centers are there right now?
So we've got 8 centers, most of them in Delhi NCR, but we've got a couple of them in Chandigarh as well.
Excellent.
And I think running has been a very important part. I mean, we see that frankly, the whole running boom between the marathons in the cities, in different cities across the country, it's the easiest thing, it's the most natural thing for people to do, which is to walk and graduate the walking into running. And it's much easier to see a person who's into a sport, whether it's running, to try out another sport, which could be cycling or cross training or going to the gym or climbing the mountain or doing any other sport.
Yeah.
It's harder to get the person off his bench from a sitting position to do anything, but much easier for him to switch from one thing to another thing. And running is the most natural thing that's happening for people, where the non-fitness people are getting inducted into sport, into running, but maybe their first 5 kilometer, a half marathon or a full marathon, and then trying on other sports as a function of that. So we see a lot of people who come in from the running discipline into the gyms to work up on their entire body strengthening. And to be fair, a lot of the people who join the gym in respect, the first thing they do is hit the treadmill, which is, I think they respond back into each other. The gyms gets the runners gets the gyms, and that's nice.
That's excellent, because sometime back that wasn't happening enough, was it? I mean, like 5 years ago types.
It's a function of, so I think there's a lot of supply that fuels the demand.
Fair.
In which case we had bad quality supply of everything, between gyms not being of the right standard, between the environment not being conducive, between the social aspect of a group not being visible, So all those things were inhibitors, and a lot of those barriers are now being removed. So you can find between various mobile apps which are promoting running of various groups to marathons being conducted, including yours is the best one across the country. Various running groups, cycling groups. A lot of gyms have mushroomed, and the competition makes the quality of the supply better, and that just increases the size of the pie of the number of people involved with any sort of activity.
Super.
So that's, and we still right now, I'll say we haven't hit the point of inflection yet. It's still a large part of the people don't go to the gym.
Right.
And that requires more than just the supply side, but a bunch of socio-economic factors also in play. Between, income levels, between the cost of conducting or pursuing anything, between the social environment, which means that if you see your friends fit, you're encouraged to be fit. If you're no longer living with your parents and they're not going to fix you up with a wife, and you're going to go hunt your own wife, then you
all the way around.
All the way around. Or you're married and you want to get plan B. Then you need to be fit, and that's it's a matter of just evolution.
Right, makes sense. And what do you see, like, in the gym scenario, have things changed as in how much time people are spending on the treadmill versus the strength training bit, or whichever way?
So the market of gym goers is a little polarized.
Mm-hmm. There
is the first timers who were a lot looking at just frankly getting out of their bench and out of their couch potato status into walking on the treadmill and doing some very basic strength exercises with the assistance of trainers to basically tick a box that yes, I went to the gym and I'm doing something as against doing nothing, and that's a good start.
Right.
And there's a large part of them in that space who unfortunately, because they're not driven, and I guess we as providers try also to drive them to up their levels of commitment in terms of just visit the gym more frequently. But a lot of them fall off from there because they have unrealistic expectations that okay, I'm going to just walk for 2 kilometers at 6 kilometers an hour speed and lift a couple of dumbbells and I'll lose 10 kgs of weight in 1 month. Now there's an expectation management issue which we at least as a company try to address. But there is still a large percentage of them who don't hit the minimum number of visits a week in a gym and don't do the required level of exercise they're supposed to do, which doesn't necessarily have to be that they're spending 2 hours in the gym every time. It could be twice a week, it could be 45 minutes, but making sure that 45 minutes is a productive 45 minutes. And if you look at 45 minutes, so give or take 2 hours in a week, so if you're doing twice a week, it's not a lot of time, but it becomes a barrier for people to go, I've got to commit to the gym, I'm going to spend so much time. It's actually not a lot of time to looking at 2 hours a week. It's a reasonable start where you can start putting in what kind of expectations you should be achieving in 1, 2, 3, 6 months time.
Right.
So there is a large level of population which is in this bracket. There is the other bracket, which are the extremely fit, dedicated, I'd say the largely younger lot who go to the gym. And they will frankly go to any gym irrespective of quality because they already educated, they know what to do, and that they are, let's just say, your brand ambassadors at some level. And here I'm talking about, this is largely the younger, some part of the younger 25 to 30 age group where you will find large percentage of people in this bracket. But most of the first timers are either in the younger bracket where they found that they used to do sport in school and they're not doing sport anymore, so they need to get into it. And you have a lot of people who are older in the post 40 segment, like me. I'm not sure you probably in the post 30. You're 17, right? So there's the older lot which also comes back thinking, I used to be fit as a kid, I used to play some sport, now I'm not, need to get back into what I used to look like earlier. So they get back, and the older lot is a little more, I'd say, disciplined. They don't do things for fashion purposes. They get into any sport or any sort of regime or something as a lifestyle thing, which is going to be for the rest of life. Whatever their lifestyle, it's a morning walk, that's a morning walk. But they try and maintain a regularity to it. So that's largely the two buckets of population. There's a third bucket, which is, I'd say, a large part of the women who like classes. They like your group classes of any sorts because it's social. It's also some level of activity and fitness. It's fun. It's loud music. It's with other people of very similar age group, and it's usually neighborhood people from wherever your gym location is. And they're there for the fun, energy, sport part of it, and exercise is a byproduct of it, which is fine. Correct.
Awesome.
I hope I answered that question. Long answer to a short question.
No, but that's awesome. What about one very classic question that I get from runners all the time? Treadmill versus other tracks. So whether it's hard or concrete, but the big one is treadmill versus whatever. What's your take? I mean, how good, bad is the treadmill?
So just to make sure I understand the question really, is it treadmill versus other forms of running or treadmill versus cross trainer / cycle?
No, outside running.
Okay. So frankly, treadmills now have come a long way. There are good brands in the US, in Europe, who make fantastic treadmills which replicate a grass movement on a treadmill platform, which is with a cushioned deck where impact is minimized. It's not to say that hard running on the road is bad. I mean, relative things, all things being equal, yes, a treadmill is better in the form of it having a cushioned deck, a good quality treadmill. The brands of Life Fitness and Techno Gym have all those. Grass is ideal. Hard surface running, as long as you're strengthening your muscles again along your quadriceps and your handspring and your calves, you're fine. The hard part happens when you run long distances on hard surface, but you don't back it up with strength training exercise. You will injure yourself, and that just happens with overuse. And that's not about the surface, but it will also happen on a good quality treadmill. It will also happen on grass. It might just happen sometime later, but you've got to back it up with strength training.
The one big thing that I actually find is when people pick up running at 20 after having sat or later after that, right? After a decade, 2 decades, 3 decades, or just sitting on the butts, when they move unnaturally.
Right.
So when they try wherever, it doesn't matter anymore the surface. They don't know what to do with the hand or the leg. It's very awkward for them, and they realize that. They're like, we don't really know how to run anymore. That I've seen as the biggest reason. Of course, that's closely followed by strength training, because obviously these guys haven't done that either. But sometimes I find it very interesting when gym goers come along. Some of those so-called experienced guys, and they don't do any cardio because they only do strength training. I would any day, I'm not saying it because you're here, I would any day put strength training above cardio when it comes to strength exercises. But those guys have just done nothing. So that seems to be an issue most of the time. So that awkward movement that people do.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's the awkwardness, but then I think there's the other thing which is around what you were saying, which is that a lot of misconceptions are there with exercise. Cardio is there to lose weight, strength is there to put on muscle. Now that's not true at all. I mean, it's a small part of the truth, but it's completely. I mean, nice if you look at that as the entire truth, it's wrong. Strength training keeps your metabolic rate high, even after you exercise. So you keep losing weight after you exercise. If you do, low weights and high repetitions, that's what it will happen. You also lose muscle when you do cardio, and you make sure that you back it up with strength training to keep the muscle up. Besides awkwardness, I mean, awkwardness also happens because your muscles have wilted away, and your muscles are not there to make you do the movements which are just absolutely natural to you. And that's fits well with between awkwardness.
Now, this thing about you actually raised that point. So between the treadmill and the other things that are there, whether the cross trainer and other things, again, what's your take on it? Not saying better worse, just comparing the two things.
My take is that just like in foods, we have a balanced diet.
Right.
You get protein from multiple sources. It's easy to bracket and oversimplify things like treadmill, cross trainers, and bikes are cardio. So it doesn't really matter what you do. But the truth is, when you're using different muscle groups in each of the exercises, so sure, you've got, if somebody is injured, has a back problem, then it will be good if he does a recumbent bike is probably the best thing for him.
Right.
If you're recovering from a knee injury or then sure, again you should do something which is not low impact, which could be a bicycle again in this case.
Right.
But you use a different muscle
Right.
when you cycle and cross train and you do a treadmill. I think a healthy mix of all of them is the right way to do it.
Right.
Just like we think about food for ourselves.
Brilliant, excellent. And what about, again, just talking about previous runners who come on this little series, how young are young people who are coming to the gym, to your gym at least?
Well, we don't allow anyone below the age of 16 to come.
Okay.
We've done some classes for kids with
Right.
their parents, but that's more like just a class, not really in the gym.
Right.
In the weights or the cardio area also. 16 is really the age that we allow people to come
Okay.
in, and I don't think we have any requests below that either.
Okay. There is no request either. Okay, that's interesting. Okay. And the other way, like, beyond 60, beyond 70, how
So we get some very old people. I mean, we get people in the 70s as well coming in who do small stuff, but that's great. I mean, I think we find especially, I think one of the most regular people is a former ambassador to the Netherlands who was with us, a lady in her 60s, but because she's lived in multiple places in the world, the whole exercise thing is a part of her culture.
Awesome.
And she uses gym every day for an hour or more a day. And that's nice to see the dedication from somebody. And it's not, yes, I'm checking the box of going to the gym, it's actually going to the gym and doing something in the gym.
Right.
Yeah.
What about couples? I mean, again, do couples sign up enough? There are enough things out, right? 1st January, if couples sign up, 60% off for the spouse, kind of.
The whole reason why people join a gym is not to be with their wife. So join separate gyms.
Yeah, go on.
I wouldn't go to the gym if my wife goes to the gym. I'm not joking, but unfortunately it's not as I think the fact that anybody offers discounts is that the demand is very low for those.
Right.
So it's if it was an easy sell, why bother giving a discount?
Right.
We all function in the probability is a bit like an insurance company. We factor in probability. We sell a 2 people membership. What are the chances of both of them actually showing up? Or like the insurance company, what are the chances of all the cars that we insure one hitting a car crash? Unlikely. So it's really meant to be a carrot to make that sale. But again, like I said, the per capita usage of gyms or fitness in general is so low. Therefore, couple discounts or multiple people discounts is offered, which is why gyms do it and airlines don't, because airline seat is used with gym. You sell a group membership, chances are most people won't use it,
Right.
unfortunately.
Right.
Right.
And since you spoke about the whole insurance angle to
Right.
things, again, just a random question really. How many people sign up in January, and by December, how many are still there?
So
Actually, March. Maybe.
For some reason, we've not seen a major January uptick. It's well documented that the January uptick is very high across most parts of the world. I think partly because a lot of our gyms are north-centric with the weather conditions, with the short days. I think people find it a little harder to get up and out in the January rush. So we've not seen that by itself.
Right.
Also, there is a bit of a hangover from the New Year holidays,
Right.
which means that sure, there's a bit of a more guilt and uptick which happens around February and March,
Right.
as summer months get closer to summer already.
Right.
But to answer the second part of your question, how many sign up and then continue to be a part of membership, part of the gym 12 months later? So effectively, what we as a company have done is completely turn the model on its head, and we don't sell annual memberships.
It's a monthly thing.
We sell monthly memberships which you can cancel anytime on by yourself, and you're paying it on a monthly basis with no premium that you have to pay because it's a monthly membership. You're just paying.
It is purely
It is a monthly membership.
Right.
Charged to your credit card. You buy it online. You cancel it when you want. So you buy when you like, cancel when you like, and it makes sure that our operations are kept very high.
Right.
We stay customer focused. That they don't stop using the gym, because if they stop using the gym, they will cancel the memberships. And we're just happy to get more and more people to try the gym the first time, and some of them will stick and some of them won't. But we do our best to keep the operations slightly high.
Awesome. And what about, again, we're sorry for being so blunt about it, but manpower. You know, the guys on the floor for you.
Yeah.
What's your take on it? Like, you know, are we yet there? Are we expecting the quality to grow even more? I mean, where are we with it?
So, unfortunately, the space of trainers is not regulated. There are qualifications being given, everything from a bachelor's in physical education, a master's in physical education, but that's not necessarily gym-specific education. Secondly, there are courses which are everything from international courses run online to local companies offering their own courses. A lot of it is textbook based and the other is practical with